No amount of strategizing, no amount of manipulation, and no amount of just striving will bring that satisfaction that our soul aches and craves for outside of the presence of God. Hey guys, welcome to Walking with Faith. My name is Faith. I'm so thrilled to have you here with me today. I make faith-based content here on YouTube. I post once a week. So if anything I share in this video resonates with you or just piques your interest, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and just go a little bit further and hit that notification bell so it lets you know every time I upload on here. And one more thing, just share this video with somebody else you think might need it as well. If you're new here on this channel, last week I made a video on the 2 types of suffering that Christians go through on our walk with God. And in this video, I want to go the opposite direction. And today I want to talk about desiring more. Desiring more is important in our walk with God also because the Lord promises us a life lived more abundantly. And it's very important for us to understand what that abundant life looks like and for us to desire it as well. Now, when I say desiring more, I'm not thinking in terms of quantity. I'm thinking more so about quality, specifically desiring things God's way. And honestly, that type of desire is about wanting more for yourself, just not at the expense of God's design, at the expense of God's timing, His wisdom, and most importantly, His presence. We would not be human if we did not try to control our own lives. We try to force things to happen when we want them, how we want them, and with whom we want them. If life has taught me anything, it's that no amount of strategizing, no amount of manipulation, and no amount of just striving will bring that satisfaction that our soul aches and craves for outside of the presence of God. Whenever I find myself in a place where I know I'm rushing or I'm chasing something or I'm striving just out of bounds in something, I'm always reminded of this scripture, Hosea 2 verse 7, which says, "She will chase after her lovers, but not catch them. She will look for them, but not find them. Then she will say, I will go back to my husband as at first, for then I was better off than now." The metaphorical husband in this verse is Jesus, who always has His arms open for us, right? Regardless of what we have been doing, regardless of what we thought was better than Him, right? His arms are always open and ready to catch us when we learn our lesson and we go back in and allow Him to give us vision for our lives. Like the children of Israel, we try to manipulate, we try to strategize, we try to overtly control things so we can get our way. But honestly, outside of God's timing and His wisdom, even if we do get it, like we never truly get the satisfaction of that thing, of that purpose, of that breakthrough, of that job, whatever that thing is, there's never really a satisfaction if we try to do it in our own power, in our own strength. One of the clearest illustrations of this thing that outside of God, you cannot enjoy the thing that you think you desire is the story of Isaac and Ishmael. So the backstory on this is that Abraham and his wife Sarah, they were old. I mean, like ancient old. People were dust at that time. And the one thing they desired was for a child. They wanted a legacy to carry on the name, and they desired a child so much they asked of God. And the Lord said that He would not only give them a child, but He would give them generations and generations to come. When you are waiting for something and you feel like God is taking too long, you sometimes try to take things into your own hands, and that is what ended up happening with Abraham and Sarah. That's how we end up with Ishmael and Isaac. As I remembered it, I always wondered, like, why wasn't Ishmael enough for Sarah, right? Because at the end of the day, all they wanted was a child. They wanted an heir, and Ishmael was a child, right? Ishmael was a child. Like, your desire is a child. Sarah, even as a woman, just looking back, like for her to be at the point of such a desire for a kid that she allows another woman to sleep with her husband in order to have this baby, and yet still that wasn't enough, like, because she ended up with a child, right? But it did not bring that satisfaction that she thought it would have gotten her. And why is that? They didn't have the peace, they didn't have the enjoyment, and they didn't have that satisfaction that they thought would come with just having a child because they were missing the most valuable part of that, and that is God's involvement in the entire process. If we go into Galatians 4:22 to 23, it puts it so plainly. It says, the scriptures say that Abraham had two sons, one by the slave woman and one by the free woman. The son born of the slave woman was born as a human attempt to fulfill God's promise, but the son of the free woman was born as the result of God's promise. Both situations resulted in a child, but only one came with peace, only one came with rest, and only one came with satisfaction. And that's the key difference. The presence of God allows you not only to enjoy it, but be satisfied in that desire, because he safeguards it and he produces it in a time that you are able to sustain and steward whatever it is you are requesting of God. Desiring more is not about acquiring things or acquiring more favorable outcomes. It's about desiring more of God in the process of whatever we are doing. It's choosing God's involvement over our own effort. It's choosing God's timing over our own urgency. And it's choosing God's wisdom over our own limited understanding of our own lives and the world around us. So the next time we are making plans and we are making goals and aspiring for things, maybe the question isn't how badly do I want this? Rather, the question should be, am I willing to trust God with this desire? Am I willing to trust God with his timing in this thing? Am I willing to trust God with this? Let that be the question. Whatever desire we have, whatever thing we're aspiring for, am I willing to trust God with this? At a very surface level, we think that what we desire is that thing, the breakthrough, it's the job, it's the career, it's the person, right? It's the thing, the tangible thing. And those can be really good things. I desire a lot of good things in my life. I desire a lot of good things for my future. But what we're actually longing for is God's presence in that. I often wonder why people feel that God is so restrictive, or God doesn't let you do anything. Like, that's why I don't want to be a Christian, because there are too many rules. Oftentimes, love or guidance seems restrictive because our internal self, right, our nature is just to not listen. It's just to do whatever we want, regardless of whether it's destructive or not. But love safeguards your desires. Love safeguards your pursuits, right? God does not cage you in. He surrounds you with himself to safeguard you. So when you are desiring things, he even has to purify your desires so you don't cause your self-destruction. That's why when I say the presence of God is the thing we long for, we think is the satisfaction of the tangible, but it's the presence of God that makes it enjoyable. It's the presence of God that brings that abundance. In Psalm, David says, in your presence is fullness of joy. At your right hand side are pleasures forevermore. The presence of God is what makes whatever it is that much valuable. So whether we desire or pursue, the presence of God is what makes it important. It is what makes it valuable, is what makes it enjoyable and satisfactory for us. Take, for example, Will Smith. He is considered one of the most successful people in Hollywood, right? Whether black or white, he's a very successful man. He's been in a place where he had the family, the fame, and all the things. And he sat down with Lecrae for an interview, and he said something that was very telling. He said, I wish everybody could get everything they want to see that it doesn't satisfy. The man, one of the most successful people in the world, right? He has what people would think is everything. And even he is saying it doesn't satisfy, right? It doesn't mean money is irrelevant. It doesn't mean like means are irrelevant. It's that the missing piece is God. I can bet you if Will Smith was walking with God, if Will Smith was filled with the Holy Spirit, there will be an internal joy, there will be an internal peace, there will be the presence of God keeping him for him to enjoy the satisfaction of all he has worked for. The missing piece is not the next thing that we're pursuing. The missing piece is not the next person that we desire. The missing piece is the presence of God. Relationship with God is not just something that we desire, it's something that is vital for our living on this planet. The presence of God is what makes life worthwhile. So I want to leave you with this challenge, right? As you plan and as you do the different things that we all do. I'm a planner by nature, so I'm writing goals. Y'all, I'm writing goals every single month. And as you do those things, I want you to be of the mindset, less about how badly do I want it, and more so, can I trust God with this? Because not only does it take the pressure off of you, right? It gives you a perspective that the outcome is not in your hands, it's in God's hands. That's how that desire is safeguarded, because the timing is in God's hands. You do what you can and you leave the rest to God. His love is about making sure that you win ultimately. It's not about burning you out. It's not about you chasing these things and being disappointed and just array of emotions. His love safeguards that the presence of God will never do you wrong. It would never do you wrong. If this message resonated with you, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and share with somebody who might need just a little reminder of the importance of God's presence in their life. And as always, I am rooting for you and I'm praying for you, and I'll see you in the next video.